Okay, it's Sunday again, and we've got another game lined up. 2,400 points again. We've been enjoying that so far, so we're just doing a few more. Right, so this game, we've got a battle for the pass, a bit different this time. Just decided to give the Orcs a break this week, just try something new out, just to give Simon a bit of a change. It's going to be Bretonnians versus Ogres. So here's the Bretonnian setup. We have 3 Pegasus Knights, 12 Knight Errant with full command. They also have the Errantry Banner. We have 10 Knights of the Realm. Yeah, I think it's 10. Yeah. Okay, I've got one missing. Okay, I'll put him in a second. But yeah, 10 Knights of the Realm with Prophetess of the Lady, the BSB, and another Paladin. They're both tooled up. You'll find out what those are during the game, I'm sure. I've got 39 men at arms. My general, who's Bretonnian Lord, he's pretty tooled up. He's got I think it's the Virtue of Heroism. I'm sure anyone Bretonnian players will know what that does. We've got 8 questing knights with a Damsel of the Lady. She's level 2. Both my casters are Law of Life. We've got 16 peasant bowmen with defensive stakes and a trebuchet. And for spells, my level 2 got Earthblood and Awakening of the Woods. And my level 4 got Dweller's Blow, Flesh to Stone, Throne of Vines, and Regrowth. So pretty good. So everything but I can't remember what it's called now. Throne of Vines. Not Throne of Vines. I don't know. The one that does strength 4 hits to the unit that's attacking it. So yeah, so that's pretty good. So never played Bretonnians before, other than the small games. Hopefully it will go well. Learned a lot from Once Bitten's channel. He seems to know a lot about Bretonnians, so I thought I'd sort of base my army on that. It's not because I'm good with Bretonnians, it's just because I copied him. So anyway, so I shall hand you over to Si so we can take a look at his Ogre army.
Okay, this is my Ogre deployment, 2,400. On my left flank, I have a lone saber tusk, a real one this time that I didn't have to do much of a Jez Goodwin on, thankfully. And over here we have what looks like a rather laid back Ogre on a Stonehorn. It's just a normal Stonehorn, it's not any character. We have 4 Mournfang tooled up to the 9s with the Dragonhide banner. We have a unit of 15 Ogre Bulls. Goldfag there is being my BSB, and my Skaven Greyseer is still playing Slaughtermaster, at least until next week, hopefully, when I should have my real Slaughtermaster coming from Games Workshop. I'd have more. I'd in fact have an entire army by the Slaughtermaster by now, but a certain gaming company based in the UK for wargamers have totally not sent my order yet, so I'm not best pleased after 2 weeks. So yeah, in the middle there, then behind them I have an Iron Blaster, then a unit of 8 Iron Guts with command, led by a level 2 Firebelly, and then right out here on the far flank is another Saber Tusk. The spells I got were, for the Slaughtermaster, I got Troll Guts, Ball Gorger, Tooth Cracker, and Spine Marrow. And then for the Firebelly, I ended up with Cascading Fire Cloak and Fireball. So yeah, these signature spells coming into their own, hopefully. I believe Ollie is going to pray, so that's basically automatically going to hand me the first turn. So yeah, we'll see you at the end of the first turn then. Okay, end of Ogre Kingdoms turn 1. On my left here, my lone dude, little Saber Tusk, has scarpered around. I've tried to put him at least long range of the peasant bowman, but then again, when it's 5s that are needed to hit, you always roll a lot of 5s, but well, that's better than 4s, I suppose. So meh. He's just there as a sacrificial lamb anyway. This guy moved up, as did my Mornfang, who did a little bit of a swift reform. The Ogres moved up, as did the Iron Guts and the Iron Blaster, and this guy just edged towards the wood. I had a pretty productive magic phase. I got spine marrow off on these guys just in case they get charged, and then I got troll guts and tooth cracker off on these guys, so they're now toughness 5 with 4 up regen, which is rather nice. So yeah, shooting phase. I took a pot shot at his general with my harpoon launcher, but missed, and the cannon, even with a big 10-inch bounce, it managed to score a couple of knights just simply because the bus was so long. But 2 knights is better than no knights, so makes me happy. I've still got it on turn 1, which is pretty impressive because last time I didn't have it, it blew up straight away, so I'm already 100% in profit. So yeah, that is the end of Ogre's turn 1. We will get back to you in Bretonnian's turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Bretonnian's turn 1, well, the movement phase, I just moved these guys around a bit. Peasants moved up. The Pegasus Knights flew over the forest to kind of redirect the Ogres. My Lord charged into the Stonehorn, and that was pretty much it for movement. In the magic phase, I rolled 9. Managed to cast Throne of Vines with 2 dice with an irresistible force. But as it works out, you get to ignore the miscast on a 2-up because the spell resolves before the miscast. So that saved my bacon. And then I cast Regrowth, which sided through, and I managed to get my 2 knights back. And then I cast Dwellers Below and got another irresistible force. So got the miscast this time because I rolled a 1, but I needed a wound to both my wizards, so that wasn't too bad. And started off 3 ogres, so that was a pretty good start. And that was it for magic. Then the shooting phase, the trebuchet managed to shoot at the Mornfang, a bit scattered off, but did a wound to them still. And the archers managed to put a wound on the Saber-tusk. Then in close combat, my Lord got out his Heartwood Lance and used the Tress of Isolde and hit on 2s, but unfortunately only got 3 hits. Then he only got 2 wounds and no heroic killing blows, unfortunately. And then the Stonehorn got a ridiculous amount of hits and actually did 2 wounds to me, so that's not looking very good. So I've got one more chance to kill him and then I'm going to go down, so he will die heroically. So that's it, so that's the end of my turn. It's not looking too bad. Obviously I think my Lord's about to cark it one way or another. But other than that, losing your general on turn 2 isn't so bad, I guess. So I nearly lost his on turn 1. So with the well, it wasn't his general. Yeah, it was actually. Sorry. Yeah, with the Dwellers Below on them. So that was it. So it's the end of Bretonnian's turn 1.
Okay, end of Ogre Kingdom's turn 2. Everyone pretty much just moved around. The Iron Guts pretty much had to charge the Pegasus Knights because otherwise I was risking a flank charge. As I expected, basically with Swiss Stride they escaped, but it's worth it because if I caught him then it would have been bad times for him, and if I hadn't charged it would have been bad times for me. So to support, I brought the unit of Ogres up a little, yeah, basically everyone else just kind of edged up. In the magic phase, I rolled a 5, got 2 channels, Ollie got 1 channel, and then I managed to get spine marrow off, and Ollie dispelled everything else. So then it was shooting. I managed to get another nice long 10-inch bounce, and hit 2 knights in that unit, killing them both. So the ones that Ollie got back last time have been re-killed. Sort of something to do with that cunning transvestite Manfred in the middle there. And Yeah, basically in the close combat phase, the Stonehorn nommed the Bretonnian Lord, and then just reformed. And that was basically the end of my turn 2, so it will be Bretonnians.
Okay, it's the end of Bretonnians turn 2, and it's all kicked off. Okay, so in the charges, I charged the Knight Errant. Well, I actually failed the Impetuous test to charge him, but I was going to charge him anyway, apparently. So I charged into the Iron Guts. These guys just moved up a tiny bit. The men at arms moved up to redirect the Ogres. The Pegasus Knights rallied and just carried on facing that way, just to kind of support the Knights Errant from the Saber Tusk. And these guys just stayed where they were, and so did these. And then in the magic phase, I failed to cast Flesh to Stone by rolling a double 1, which was bad. And then I tried to cast Awakening the Woods just to kill the Saber Tusk, and so I dispelled it. And then I cast Regen on these guys, so they've got 5 up Regen now. And then in the shooting phase, the Bowman shot the Saber Tusk, which is probably the worst thing I've ever done, because I forgot that, well, I had a great plan and I failed it by shooting the Saber Tusk. So that was pretty stupid. It'll become clear why. And then the Tree Bucket managed to miss the Mournfang. Well, in fact, it misfired. So that was it. So end of Bretonnian turn 2. I don't know. So it's hard to tell what's going to happen, but in a reasonably good position over here. Here might not be so good. We'll find out. So it's the end of Bretonnian's turn 2.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 3. Basically, I charged the Mournfang into the Questing Knights. I reformed this guy, moved him up a bit. The Ogre unit reformed and moved parallel to the peasants. Then in the magic phase, I managed to get off Ball Gorger on those guys. I only rolled 4 dice, sorry. So I didn't have much of an advantage. And then Ollie scrolled the Toothcracker spell that I tried to cast as well. So yeah, I ended up beating over here the Knights Errant in combat. Managed to chop them up and then managed to chase them down. Got lucky there. And basically reformed to face these 2 units. So yeah, pretty good turn for me. Managed to, in the shooting phase, managed to kill another guy out of this unit, and that was about it. So it is Bretonnian's turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Bretonnian's turn 3, and yeah. So I charged the peasants into the Iron Guts. I charged the Knights of the Realm into the flank of the Ogre bus, and then the archers just move around so they can shoot the Mournfang. The Pegasus Knights flew over here to kind of redirect the Stonehorn should it come into the flank. Then in the magic phase, I rolled 2, and so I scrolled down the spell I tried to cast, which was a shame. Then the shooting phase, the Trebuchet managed to kill one of the Mournfang and do a wound to another one, which was lovely, but he passed his break test, which was a shame. The archers fired at the Mournfang, and he made all his saves. And then in close combat, the peasants actually killed a whole Iron Gut by themselves, then took loads of casualties in return, but were steadfast 8 with a reroll, so they were fine. And then these guys, the champion challenged his Bruiser BSB, and actually did a wound to him and won the challenge because he didn't die, which was lovely. And these guys did a ruckload of wounds, killed a couple of ogres. Unfortunately, Sai has the Crown of Command and he's leadership 8 with a reroll, so I didn't break them. So pretty much my last hope for winning is gone there. Which will continue because I'm pretty good at making comebacks with Bretonnians, judging by that 1,000-point game we had. So I'm gonna persevere, but it isn't looking too good at the moment, just because I've run out of steam. Because I'm going to be bogged down with these for ages now, so we'll see what happens. So that's the end of Bretonnian's turn 3.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 4. The Mournfang did an about face. They did a swift reform, legged it back. The Stonehorn just marched up around. That was about it for all the movement. I got awesome double 6 for the magic phase. Buffed the utter crap out of my big unit, so they got +1 strength, +1 toughness, and troll guts, so 4 up regen. Over here, I managed to get cascading fire cloak off, and basically, and then the shooting phase, I shot at the Pegasus Knights with great shot. Rolled 6 hits, but unfortunately got 2 1s, so still one annoying Pegasus Knight left, which means that unfortunately, due to the slaughter, I can't get a charge off on the dudes. So yeah, a bit of a pain in the arse. But yes, over here, I managed to kill his champion in close combat, but that was about all I did, because I still couldn't bring enough ogres to bear. Ooh, actually, that reminds me, I'll see if I can make a reform test, but I lost by 2.
Did you?
No, I lost by 3, because you've got...
I've got combat res of 4 though, and I've got flanks, that's 5.
and I got a combat res of 3, so I lost by...
Yeah, but you don't have any ranks.
No, but I got 2 wounds and a banner.
2 wounds as well, didn't
Yeah. So I've got a banner, and you've got 2 ranks. Yeah, you win by 3. Yeah. So I need 6 or less to reform. So that was last time. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wrong. I needed a 5, so I got the re-roll anyway to reform. So those guys.
And you rolled a 5.
Yes.
Which is really annoying.
Damn jammy.
So yeah, that's the end of that.
So they're gonna we'll put those back together again in just a sec. And then over here, I still managed to. These dudes are friggin' legends. I'm really quite jealous of them because they've been chomping through over and over a turn. So yeah, I even though I managed to cut down loads, they're still chomping through me. So a lucky round of combat like you got last time, and that could see these boys screwed if they don't manage to do too much to them. So yes, pretty good turn still, and then it's over to Bretonnian's turn 4.
Okay, end of Bretonnian turn 4. It's getting a bit sticky now. The Peg Knight just moved a little bit to redirect the Stonehorn, and that was it for movement. Then in the magic phase, I managed to get a load of dice, cast Throne of Vines, he let that through. I cast Regrowth, he let that through, and got 1 knight back, which is a bit sad. And then he dispelled Flesh to Stone, which was catastrophic, but you know, ouch. Then, also in the magic phase, a load of peasants died to cascading fire cloak. Then in the shooting phase, the archers stuck one of these guys with an arrow, and the trebuchet shot at them as well. He failed to wound the one who was under, but did a strength 5 hits the other guy, killing him off. Unfortunately, they passed their break test, which is really nasty, because it would have been great if they fled off the board or something. Anyway, and then in close combat, these guys chomped up the rest of the peasants. Peasants may have done a wound in return, and their luck had run out. And then in this combat, I actually managed to win it, but unfortunately he's still steadfast, because he's got the Crown Command. I think I did a wound to him, I challenged with my Paladin, and he did a wound to me. Unfortunately he's buffed up so much, I just can't get through those defences. So he won the combat, lost the combat still, with my combat res, and unfortunately just made his break test, which is a real shame. But he had a reroll anyway, so it didn't really matter. So I'm hanging in there, but it isn't looking very good. So we'll see what happens at the end of Ogre's turn 5.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 5. Basically, the Iron Guts and the remaining Mournfang charged in. Thankfully, my Stonehorn passed his frenzy test, and then just shot the remaining Pegasus Knight with his harpoon launcher and skewered him, leaving the Iron Blast with nothing to shoot at. And then Magic Phase, I got a really good one. I got 11, including one channel, and then basically got all my spells off that I wanted: Troll Guts, Toothcracker, and Bull Gorger. And then basically I hacked my way through and killed all of the knights, leaving only the BSB and the damsel resolutely standing firm. So it's now on to Bretonnia turn 5.
Should be pretty quick.
Yes, hopefully. and then see you at the end of Bretonnia turn 5.
Okay, end of Bretonian's turn 5. The Trebuchet fired at the Iron Blaster, did 2 wounds to it. The archers shot the Stonehorn, only a few of them could shoot. Hit it, but didn't wound it. Then in this combat, the Prophetess challenged, and he accepted with his fire belly. And I managed to do a wound to him, which was nice. That was the horse. Oh yeah. And then my BSB fought like a hero. He beat off all the attacks until it was time for these guys, the Iron Guts. And unfortunately, Sai rolled 6 sixes to hit. He only had 6 attacks, and he got 6s with all of them. Wounded with 5 of them, so I needed a 6 rerollable and then a 5 at ward. And unfortunately, I failed them, and he died. But I was still steadfast because I still have the Crown of Command, and I passed it. So I've actually survived another round of combat. So and they're engaged in a challenge still. So it's now Sai's go. So you might have a problem here. So end of Bretonnian turn 5.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 6, and it was a short one. Basically, this cannon moved up. Magic Phase, I got Toothcracker on the Bull unit, then Troll Guts on here. I tried casting the +1 strength, but Ollie dispelled it. Shooting Phase, this shot at the Trebuchet, bounced 10 straight over the peasants, hit it, wounded it, and did 5 wounds to it, killing it. We then panicked the peasants off the board, which was probably the greatest cannon shot I've ever fired and will ever likely fire ever again. Yeah, in the mighty bitch slap battle over here between a transvestite vampire and Firebelly, I managed to score a wound on him, but he's obviously stubborn 7 and he passed yet again. So remains to see, can his damsel survive one more round of combat? So we will find out in just a minute.
Okay, as we survey the battlefield, you can see that there's quite a few casualties, other than Manfred von Tredenvestite, who's managed to survive the whole game. Okay, the last turn there was obviously no movement, so in the Magic Phase I just threw all my dice, cast Flesh to Stone, which I managed to get through, making me toughness 7, because I still have Throne of Vines up, and healed my wound back. And then we had a bit of a combat. I hit him twice, failed to wound him. He hit me a few times, failed to wound me. And that was the end. And then I rolled a 6 on my leadership again. So my Prophetess of the Lady is the only thing to survive, because everyone else is dead or running away. In fact, only the peasants run away, because everyone else just died. So yeah, what a brutal game. So it absolutely slaughtered me. I think I killed a saber tusk.
Yeah.
Obviously I killed ogres, but I didn't break anything. He passed quite a few leadership tests. Yeah. So I got like 21 points, and Sai got all but I think 271 points. So Sai wins by quite a big margin. Closest thing to a massacre you're going to get, I think, especially with Manfred von Karsten holding the flank. This guy he did really well. I was going to make him man of the match actually, just because he's the only one who survives, but to be fair, he did cast a couple of spells. But really, the man of the match for me, until he died, was the BSB. Just for providing a reroll pretty much the whole game, saving my bacon and not dying for ages. So he's the man of the match, closely followed by the damsel. but only because he survived the game. The real turkey of the match is the Knight Errant, who I don't like. And the Questing Knights did pretty bad as well. In fact, all the Knights did really bad. So Bretonnia Knights are pretty much the turkey of the game, I think. The peasants did really well. The peasant unit killed several Iron Guts and held them up for as long as they could.
Half the Iron Guts.
Yeah. So the peasants are good. The Knights are bad. The Paladins are alright. But they kind of lack punch, and especially as the BSB can't actually have a lance, which is a real shame. Where it went wrong really is when I charged the Iron Guts, I didn't break them because they were stubborn, and that was bad. So, but really where I really messed up is killing the Saber Tusk over here in front of the Questing Knights, which allowed the Mornfang to charge me. That was a catastrophic fail on my part, and I regret it. It made a huge difference, I think, because I could have got a flank on those if I'd been thinking about it better. And also just fluffing attacks really. The Crown of Command on his general really messed me up because I won that combat by some margin, but with the Crown of Command I got no chance, especially with his BSB there. So it's just a really hard fight, and I think Bretonians just kind of against Steadfast and that they just really peter out, and especially even when I get a flank and he's got Crown of Command on him, it's just, I certainly don't claim to be any good at playing Bretonians anyway, but I found it really hard with Bretonians to fight against such a tuned list of size. I mean, the Bretonians seem really tuned anyway, but they just can't deal with big Steadfast units, I don't think, unless you have some huge charge against them, and then rely on him to fail his Leadership 9 rerollable. So, yeah. I might try them again, but not next week. I think I'm going to play some more Orcs. I might try Bretonians again, though, at some point, but not just yet, because that was really demoralising. I found the Lord on the... Oh, yeah, he was definitely the turkey of the match. The Lord on the Pegasus, because he charged in. I was kind of hoping for an heroic killing blow, but if he doesn't get it off, then he just dies. So, your general dying in pretty much turn 2, wasn't it?
Mm.
Oh, it was turn 2. So it's 5 until turn 2. But yeah, it was a bit of fun though. So, quite enjoyed playing Bretonians. It's definitely an uphill struggle, but they really don't, after the charge, they're pretty much useless. So, just practice, I guess. So, like I say, I might try them again. But, loving my Orcs at the moment, so I think I'll be playing those next week. Anyway, hand you over to Si and see what he thinks. I think he's just finished eating that Bretonnian Lord now, so...
that was a very good game for me. Got pretty lucky in places. I think I played fairly well as well. There's some cunning little tricks by Ollie, which I basically had to try and get around, but I think my luck managed to carry me through a lot of the worst of that. There was like redirection by the Pegasus Knights. Those are quite irritating, and with very little in my army able to deal with them at range, I was kind of at their mercy. But I think I got pretty lucky with kind of how they were positioned. And then at the end, Ollie was kind of forced to plonk them right in front of my cannon and take the grape shot, really. But it was, I suppose, it's the calculated risk. My unit of Doom seems to do really well. The combination of the standard of discipline on the BSB and the general with the Crown of Command really does make that unit stay put. It's brilliant. Add in Grutzical for magic phase, and you really have an effective set of countermeasures. In a bit bigger game, I'd try and work the Hellheart in somewhere, because obviously in this particular instance, with Throne of Vines up, it wouldn't have bothered the damsel in the slightest. But I'll obviously in bigger games probably try and work some chaff killing ability in as well, just to allow my guys in. But yeah, the Mornfang were pretty good. They wiped out the questing knights, and they came in and sorted out the Knights of the Realm. The Iron Guts did pretty well. They worked their way through the peasants and then finished off the Knights Errant and the BSB in the end. Although I was a bit disappointed that this was at the end a draw. It was pathetic rolling on his part. He was obviously too busy. I don't know what he was too busy doing. Probably thinking of his stomach rather than killing the enemy. Although he won't have to think about his stomach for too much longer, because after the damsel scarpers, there's going to be a big old feast of their favourite food, or Goldfow's favourite food of tin meat. So great game. I think probably man of the match for me has to be it's probably that Ogre unit for standing up to
I think
flank charge.
I mean, the Ogre unit was obviously awesome, but I think the BSP did the most things, didn't he? He was all over the place.
Yeah, he
re-rolls, because the amount of first leadership tests and stuff that you failed, and then re-roll past it.
Yeah, it's very true.
Particularly their break test.
Yeah, he was the linchpin.
He was just joining on the spot, wasn't he? He was everywhere.
And I think pretty much in this game everything did stuff. Even that saber tusk that died, really, he was in the way trying to redirect the questing knights.
Any turkey is him.
Yeah, it was him. He did bugger all, but he's still alive. So even then, that's not the end of the world. But yeah, I think he's probably the worst part of my army so far. But yeah, that was a pretty good game.
Yeah, man, it was really good.
Yeah, it's pretty challenging with knights, because you do have to worry about that charge, and if you're not buffed, then you're going to get your ass handed to you, especially a flank charge. It was kind of lucky getting the roll to reform. I was fortunate that I'd managed to get some buffs up, which meant that my loss that particular turn wasn't quite as bad as it was in the previous turn when I charged. So I then had enough that I could reform and get in there, and then from there I was sorted, because I obviously then had my Iron Fist ward save, and then I had more attacks being able to bring to bear. So yeah, it was good at that point, but it was still a pretty hard fought game. There was nothing that really rolled over and died.
I think the questing knights rolled over and died.
Well, yes, yeah,
the knights errant rolled over and died. But none of your stuff did anyway.
Yeah,
well, none of it died. Huh?
No.
I think that Sabertoss did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best victory of my gaming career so far.
That was a massacre, and you totally deserved it. Although I'd like you to fail at least one leadership role next time.
Oh dear, but that was good. So we're gonna stick the models away. We're gonna get some takeaway in, and I'm gonna crack the paints out and carry on, because I have tales of fantasy painters to pledge to finish. So I want to get busy. So we'll see you next week when we'll be playing again.